that in mind when you're thinking about app rates. So I wanted to come back here and show you sort of that same idea on the opposite side with a fence next to it. And also, it's never bad practice just to leave a little, 6 inches or so. You always just want to write it down so that if the customer does complain, you know why, there are still weeds by the fence. It's like, well, we just don't want to damage your property, essentially.
Yeah,
So,
you can see the weeds there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's just always better to safe not sorry, right?
Right.
Or however that goes. But I'm just gonna spray and flick. And then I'm gonna hit my pivot point so I know it's gonna slow me down. So I'm actually gonna kind of point further out. And then stop. And then I always like to pull a little bit more just to give myself a little flexibility so I'm not fighting the hose on the next little section. And then I'm just back to my standard spray pattern, right? So out in front, and then you just want to keep in mind where you spray back so you're not overspraying what you've already sprayed, because that basically.
Do you guys worry about overlap with One Earth?
You do to an extent.
Yeah.
If you overlap too much, you're really increasing the risk of burning.
Yeah.
Just because, it's more nitrogen in one area.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like, that's essentially it as far as sprays go.
Yeah.
Now, as you're finishing your job, the reason you want to pull out from your truck as straight as possible is because it makes it a lot easier to roll up your hose. And that's kind of another thing too. As you're spraying, you sort of want to plan out because you want to be time efficient, right? Sorry, I don't want to.
Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
So I try to spray my way into the furthest corner, work my way back so that
You start in the back.
Huh?
You like to start in the back?
It depends on the house.
Yeah.
Most of the time I do start in the back.
Yeah.
Just because I have to pull the hose all the way out there.
Yeah.
So, if I had just gotten to this house, oh, it kind of stopped raining, so we can actually, sort of. Since we just got here, like, I would spray this way, spray into the back. I'd kind of spray a perimeter out to that corner, work my way back through the middle, and then as I'm coming back, finish out there because my hose has to be out here to end, right?
Yeah.
It's just being efficient in your planning. So the first thing I do, no equipment is perfect. These guns drip some. So you want to keep the gun off of the lawn when you're rolling your reel up. I just like to put it in my water bucket in the truck. And then turn my motor off. When your motor's still running, it's keeping pressure in your hose, and it just makes it more difficult to reel up the hose.
Yeah.
So we keep the water in the bucket, or a bucket full of water, because it's just convenient to like wash things up with. Should you get a leak in your hose reel or something, or your gun gets stuck closed, for whatever reason, if you spray a bunch of water somewhere, you can dump the water out, clean it up. But it also helps keep the One Earth out of like the inside of the gun from sticking it up and stuff like that, because it is very sticky. It's also a great lubricant for rolling up your hose. So when you're rolling up the hose, try to keep it high and tight so you don't want garbled hose. It's just one of those little details that, if the customer sees your equipment looks good, looks nice, your work looks good, looks nice.
Right.
So basically it's just one hand on the button, one hand on the hose, and you're just pretty straightforward. It does take a bit of practice though.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that's,
You're not going to do that your first time.
yeah. And especially toward the end of the hose reel where the hose connects to the reel. That's a hard part to kind of reel around, but you'll figure out the way that works best for you. So if I for whatever reason, like say this was a landscape bed, but that was the only gate to their backyard, that's pretty much the only situation where I would look down at the hose. And even then, and that's just to make sure you're not catching lights, you're not catching plants, you're not catching flowers. And if you're on top of your hose management, it shouldn't happen anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're in a complicated backyard, you're turning around every which way, it wrinkles up your hose gets kinked, the kink gets caught on corners,
Yeah.
everything like that. So as I'm reeling, I'm watching the hose just to make sure I can keep a nice straight line, and then I'll look back, make sure everything's okay. Keep watching. Another trick is if you just put the heel of your boot, you can see, like, I do this quite a lot. So,
You wear out your pants?
yeah, well, not the pants, but my
Oh,
I
yeah,
actually
wow.
eat through my boot, because I'll actually hold the reel with the heel of my boot.
I see.
And that'll actually, it just creates a nice pivot point. No lawn is ever perfect, so sometimes you'll have to end, you know, you'll pull that way to a house, or you know, something will happen where you have to reel up your hose from a really bad angle. That will help keep that hose nice while you're reeling it up. So same thing, I still have my hand on the hose, but this is just here to guide it in and kind of correct the angle for the reel. I find it easiest to kind of tuck the hose behind the motor of the reel, just so that it is sort of anchored down.
Yeah.
And then you're done.
Yeah.
So
So thank you, Cameron.
you're welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it.